Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We are back with our MLB Player Prop videos. Yes, I know it has been a very long time since I posted a new MLB video here on the channel. Ev has been holding it down, though. Shout out to Ev for his MLB picks videos. Always fantastic work by him. But we are officially back. Starting today, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our MLB Player Prop videos here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Look, guys, I'm not going to go on this long rant about why I'm not here and why I haven't been doing MLB videos. It's very simple. It's as simple as this. I had a lot on my plate between work, between a relationship, between playing sports, between doing NBA videos, between doing all this other stuff. It just was a lot for me to balance doing 2 videos a day in the morning before work. It became a lot, and it's tough because a lot of the lines, especially for MLB, they don't come out until the morning of, so it's not like I could record the day before because a lot of the lines aren't even released until the morning of. So balancing 2 videos each morning, which I put a lot of time and effort into them, so it was taking multiple hours a morning and then working 12 hours and all. Don't play the little violin for me yet, okay? A lot on my plate, and so I made the executive decision to put a halt on the MLB videos until a time came when the schedule lightened up, and that's exactly what has happened. At work, things are getting a little bit easier. We're well staffed now, and I think the more important thing, of course, being that the NBA season is coming to a close. We are now at the point where there's only 4 teams left. So we no longer have days where we have games of like 10 games in a slate. We only have 1 game a day now. So the NBA videos, I don't put, you don't have to put as much work into it because there's less picks, there's less games. So those have gotten easier. They're shorter, they're easier to make. And so it just freed up a lot more time for me to finally come back and do this. So we are back for the rest of the summer. There's no more, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, unless anything emergency happens, knock on wood there. We are back for the summer now with our MLB Player Prop videos. I'm very excited to be back with you guys and be able to talk some baseball. When I was last doing the videos, it was only the first week or 2 of the season, and so we didn't really have any data to go off of. Now I'm very excited because we now have, over a month, probably close to 2 months of data that we can now go off of when it comes to picking player props. We're not going off of information from a year ago. We now have a nice sample size for this year, so that makes me very excited for the MLB Player Prop videos moving forward. Before we stop, we had a 26-20 record on the season. I have 5 picks to hand out for today's slate. Let's see if we can keep the good vibes rolling. We were 26-20 before we took our extended break. Let's see if we can build on that record. All right, guys, no time to waste. Let's dive into the Outlier screen. Outlier, shout out to them. They're the best sports betting tool on the market, and they're the sponsor of today's video and all of my player prop videos here on the channel. There is a special link in our description down below that gives you a 7-day free trial to try it out for yourself. You guys will absolutely not regret it. For today's slate, I have picked some later games because this video is coming out later on in the day. I decided to pick some of the later games so that you guys have some time to bet them. Moving forward, this video will not come out after 12:30 or around 1 o'clock, whenever this video drops. It will be coming out sooner than that, earlier in the morning, so we can fit more games into the windows. But all the picks for today's slate are from the 6:50 p.m. and on games, the later games for today's MLB slate. And fair warning, this is my first MLB video I've done since April, so bear with me if I am a little tongue-twisted at points or if I seem like I'm a little off-keel, whatever you want to call it. Of course, we got to get back into the swing of things, no pun intended. All right, guys, our first pick from today's slate, we're going Connor Wong in the Red Sox-Rays game, 6:50 p.m. first pitch. We're going Connor Wong under 1.5 strikeouts. We're getting this for -125 on DraftKings, also available on BetMGM for -120. And the data is absolutely fantastic for this bet. You see he's cashed this under in 9 of his last 10 games so far in 2024, an 85% hit rate, 28 out of 33 games this year for the Red Sox. He's cashed the under, averaging .73 strikeouts per game. And the head-to-head data, you see 9 of the last 13 times he's faced off with the Tampa Bay Rays, he has cashed his under, a 69 nice percent hit rate. You scroll down below to the matchup data. Now, there's no head-to-head direct data for Connor Wong versus Ryan Pepiot. I don't know if I said that correctly. There's no head-to-head data to show what that looks like in any plate appearances. He hasn't had any plate appearances versus Ryan Pepiot. So what we do have to go off of is the season totals for these guys versus these positions. So Connor Wong, you see, versus right-handed pitchers, he's batting .342 this year versus right-handed pitchers, .350 overall. So his batting average does take a slight dip versus right-handed pitchers. You see his strikeout percentage, though, and most importantly, does go down a bit to 18.8%. It's a minor drop, but still slightly improved. And then kind of the same thing with Ryan Pepe. You see his strikeout percentage goes from 29% to 28.6%. So a slight drop. Nothing too crazy here in the data in terms of difference versus positions. But if we go ahead and look at Connor Wong this year versus right-handed pitchers. And again, one of the cool features of Outliers that you can go ahead and put filters like this. We go ahead and put versus right-handed pitchers this year, Connor Wong, an 85% hit rate, 17 out of 20 games this season. Versus right-handed pitchers, he has cashed the under. So pretty solid data there for Connor Wong. Minus 125 odds, not bad. Under 1.5 strikeouts here for Connor Wong. All right, guys, our second prop for today's slate, we're moving over to the White Sox-Blue Jays game, 7:07 p.m., first pitch. We're going Justin Turner under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. This is a plus money play. We're getting this for plus 120 on DraftKings. It's a plus money play basically everywhere that you can bet this prop. And again, you'll see data is pretty good. He's cashed this under 10 of his last 10 games. They would 100% hit rate over his last 10 games, averaging just 0.3 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game over his last 10 games. His last 20 games, a 75% hit rate. 15 of his last 20 games, he has cashed the under. In 2024 so far, a 63% hit rate, 26 out of 41 games this year for Toronto. He has cashed the under, averaging 1.59 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game. He's had a couple really big games this year for Toronto, but for the most part, the cash rate is pretty consistent. And going and look at the head-to-head data here. Each of the last two times he's faced off with Chicago in this series, he has cashed the under. He had one hit last night versus Chicago, but had no runs and no RBIs. And if you look down below here, Justin Turner, his splits this year versus right-handed pitchers, you see his batting average, which is only 227 to begin with, not great. It drops even further to 183, so that bodes pretty well for us. And again, if you go ahead and put a filter down below here, Justin Turner versus right-handed pitchers like Nastrini here, and you go ahead and see the data on the year, it's still pretty solid. We're looking at a 65% hit rate on the season, so slightly higher than what it normally is. 20 out of 31 games versus right-handed pitchers. He's cashed the under here. Again, over his last 20 games, 75% hit rate. I mean, it's all pretty much the same. I mean, there's nothing really changing the data too much, so that's pretty good. So a lot of green here, solid matchup. And although Nick Nastrini has not had a great season, he's currently pitching with a 7.88 ERA this year. Not very good, but his numbers versus right-handed batters is slightly improved. You see he's giving up a batting average of 238 average versus right-handed hitters. That's opposed to 333 versus left-handed hitters. His strikeout percentage, which is only 6% versus left-handed hitters, jumps up to 30.4% versus right-handed hitters. So overall, his numbers are slightly better, actually in some cases significantly better than versus left-handed hitters. So solid matchup overall. Although Nastrini is not the best pitcher, it's not, there's reasons to plus money play. I do still like the spot here for Justin Turner. All right, guys, third prop from today's slate. We're going over to Mariners-Yankees, 7:05 p.m. first pitch. We're going Gleyber Torres over half a strikeout. We're getting this from minus 135 odds on DraftKings, also available on BetMGM. Again, guys, data very strong here. You see he's cashed this over in 8 of his last 10 games, averaging 1.1 strikeouts per game. So far in 2024, a 70% hit rate for Gleyber. 35 out of 50 games this year, he has cashed the over, 70% hit rate. Again, averaging 1 strikeout per game. And look at the head-to-head data. 6 of the last 8 times he's faced off with Seattle, he has cashed this over. Again, a 75% hit rate, averaging, again, 1 strikeout per game versus Seattle. So far in this series, he's played him twice. He didn't strike out on Sunday's game. He had Monday's game in that 5-4 win for Seattle. He did not have a strikeout. However, last night in another 6-3 win for Seattle, he did have a strikeout and yet another loss for the Yankees. Looking at the head-to-head data versus Bryce Miller, the pitcher for tonight's game, you see Gleyber Torres has 3 plate appearances since 2018 versus Miller. Actually, a 667 batting average and no strikeouts. So actually, the head-to-head data versus Bryce Miller, not fantastic at first glance. But Gleyber Torres this year versus right-handed pitchers, you see his batting average is 219, which is a slight decrease from his overall batting average of 223. His strikeout percentage does drop a little bit to 22.7%, but still pretty decently high strikeout percentage there. And looking at Bryce Miller versus right-handed batters, his strikeout percentage 25%. Again, a slight increase over his normal line. The head-to-head data may not look the best, but the numbers for Bryce Miller are there. He's have a 3.08 ERA this year. And you look at his numbers across the board versus right-handed batters. It's just a straight line of green. If you guys are not already, join the Guy Boston Sports community. Ev created this spreadsheet that has a ton of great head-to-head data, a ton of great insight. Along with Outlier, you pair it with Ev's spreadsheet, and it really is a perfect combination for nailing sports bets here. And looking at this screen here, you'll see just green across the board. I mean, it's just, his batting average allowed against right-handed batters is only 214. Again, 25.6% strikeout percentage. I mean, everything across the board. His whip is very low. Everything is in the green zone there for Bryce Miller. So really good season for him. Really solid matchup versus right-handed batters. I think Glaber, who's already been a strikeout machine this year, and again, we can go ahead and put that, we can go ahead and put that filter to show versus right-handed pitchers what Glaber's numbers look like this year. And you see still the data across the board pretty solid. You see on 2024 so far a 63% hit rate, 24 out of 38 games versus right-handed pitchers. In his last 10 games, 8 of his last 10. So overall, the data still for the most part remains the same. Still overall a solid third bet for today's slate. Guys, we are about to the 11-minute mark in today's video. Comment 11 down below if you're watching this far. As always, guys, I really do appreciate you guys watching this far into the videos. To clarify, this is not a parlay, because I know I'm going to get questions about that. This is not a parlay. These are just straight bets. You do with these what you want with them. If you want to put them in a parlay, put them in a parlay. But I'm not parlaying all these picks together. This is simply just me giving you a couple of straight bet options for you to do whatever you would like with them. So our fourth pick from today's slate, we're going Adam Duvall in the Braves-Cubs game, 7:40 p.m. first pitch. Almost a tip off there. We're going Adam Duvall over 1.5 total bases, a plus money play here. We're getting it for plus 120 if you use FanDuel, but plus 105 on DraftKings, plus 101 on Underdog, -1, about even odds on Caesars and ESPN Bet. And look, I'll level with you guys. The data for Duvall here is awful. It's a risk. It's a reason it's a plus money play. The data is fucking horrible. Sorry for swearing. Horrible. Sorry for cussing, brother. Horrible. But the reason why I like it is because you look at the splits. It's a really good matchup. Now, Adam Duvall versus Steele here. I'm blanking on his name. Justin Steele. Versus Justin Steele dating back to 2018. 5 plate appearances, 200 batting average, 4 total bases. So, I mean, he has cashed this before on Steele here. And looking at Adam Duvall, his splits this year. Overall this year, just a 203 batting average, but versus left-handed pitchers, again, smaller sample size, only 49 plate appearances this year versus left-handed pitchers, but that batting average is 282, a massive leap versus left-handed pitchers. Everything, his BIP 300, his ISO 179, everything, his extra base hit percentage slightly drops to 27.3, but overall you see a lot of green there. And for Justin Steele, also in our favor, he's got a 5.21 ERA this year, but versus right-handed batters, that ERA jumps up to 6.59, so an increased ERA versus right-handed batters. His batting average allowed goes from 247 to 291 versus right-handed batters. His slugging percentage goes from 534 to 618. Extra base hit percentage, 61.1 to 62.5. The point, guys, here, the matchup is too good for me not to take. Plus money odds, really solid matchup. Again, I understand that Duvall this year, really brutal numbers when it comes to this line. Just an 18% hit rate this season for Duvall. Well, he's only cashed it in 5 out of 28 games this year. But there's a reason the line is where it's at 1.5. I know it is a plus money play, but I really like the spot. The matchup is too good for me not to take it. All right, guys, in the fifth and final prop from today's slate, we're going Diamondbacks Dodgers, 10:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Tyler Glasnow, under 4.5 hits allowed. This is a play we're going to get from -145 on DraftKings. It's a pretty higher up odds there, but it's a really good bet. He has cashed this in 6 of his last 10 games, a 60% hit rate, a 60% hit rate this season. He's only played 10 games this year. 60% hit rate this season for the Dodgers. Although at first glance look at it, 60% is good, it's not great. But Glasnow has been a rock star this season for the Dodgers. If you look, again, guys, join the Guy Boston Sports community. It's only $2.99 a month to join the community, and you can go ahead and get access to the MLB dashboard link to that spreadsheet. It really is fantastic. Pairing that with Outlier, you put the two of them, it's like a fine wine and a nice cheese, or whatever, I don't know, whatever fine culture people do with that kind of stuff. I'm more of a nice cold beer and a slice of pizza guy myself. But, it goes like beer. I guess it goes together like beer and pizza. Fantastic. It really is great. if you look at this chart here, I mean, Tyler Glasnow, it's green across the board here. A 2.9 ERA this year. Overall this season, he has been fantastic. Batting average allowed just 179 overall. Strikeout percentage 33.8%. His whip 0.90. Like, it's really just across the board fantastic. And you pair that with the fact that the Diamondbacks over the last 30 days have been middle of the road at best in terms of hitting. Overall, they rank 16th in Major League Baseball in batting average over the last 30 days with a 238 batting average. Their strikeout percentage, 22.9%, which is 19th in Major League Baseball. OBP 306, which is 17th in the league. OPS 16th in the league. So overall, right, they're not that great of an offense. It's not like they're this great hitting team that we have to be afraid of here. And also, add into the fact that they're on the road, it doesn't make anything better. Versus right-handed pitchers on the season, they're all bottom half of the league across the board. But versus right-handed pitchers on the road over the last 30 days, a 211 batting average. It's bottom in the league, bottom barrel. You're going up against Tyler Glasnow, one of the best pitchers in baseball, against the Diamondbacks team that over the last 30 days has just not been hitting the ball all that great, especially versus right-handed pitchers on the road. That specific matchup, really, really bad spot here. It's minus 145 for a reason. I really like the spot here for Tyler Glasnow, under 4.5 hits. All right, guys, if you watch my NBA player prop videos, you do know that I like to share the link for the picks in the description. I don't do the pinned comment thing like Ev does. That's his shtick. That's his thing. No, I shouldn't say shtick. That kind of sounds rude. It's his deal. That's what he likes to do. He puts them in the pinned comment. I personally don't. I like to put them in the description down below. So this link, click the link down below. I'll make sure to highlight that link for you guys. You'll just go ahead and click that link, and it'll take you right to this page. So there's our 5 picks for today's slate. Again, this is not a parlay. I cannot stress that enough. This is not. So if one of these picks loses and I get comments, this parlay lost, it's not a parlay. These are just 5 straight bets. You can parlay them if you want. I mean, it's absolutely okay to do that. If you go ahead and look back to this, that's a plus 2,288 parlay if you parlay all 5 together. So look, you want to go ahead and put a parlay in, you absolutely could. I'm not telling you to do that, though. I'm just saying these are the 5 picks that I like the most for tonight's slate here. So again, you click that link down below. I'll take you to this page, and you'll see all these picks. And you can go ahead and put it right to DraftKings or right to FanDuel or whatever. And it shows you down below the odds there and which ones are available and which sportsbook there. You can go ahead and put in the sportsbook. You can bet as a parlay. You can bet them individually, whatever you like to do. This just makes it so much easier to tail along and ride my bet. So, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. It's good to be back. Whoops. That was the wrong button. It's good to be back, guys. It's good. I'm sorry. Again, I apologize for the long absence of videos, but we are officially back. MLB Player Prop videos, expect them regularly from now on throughout the rest of the summer. So, guys, that is it. Thank you very much so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Until next time, guys, I hope we're all winners.